So we are now ready to move on. We've done our double page spread on tone. We have done our line experimentations and drawing. We are now looking at our first artist called Van Gogh, which you may or may not have heard of him. He is a master of using paint in a way to create form. And the way in which he does this, as you may have noticed already, is that he'll put his lines in a position to emphasise the shape of the structure that he's painting. So if we look at these pears here, we can see there's lots of marks on these pears that he's putting with his paint, and they go round the pear. This is known as directional shading or directional painting, and that is to create a sense that these are real objects, 3D objects in front of us. So, as always, we're going to start our page with a background. We're going to be using paints. We're going to be using different shades of yellow today, and we're going to keep that background really light. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so it's really important that we've got a tissue in our hand because we will need to keep dabbing our paintbrush, take off any excess water as we're changing the tone of the yellow. The first thing to point out is that you should be using a big brush. Okay, we shouldn't be painting this page with a really small paintbrush and doing these little kind of marks like this. This shouldn't take us very long at all. So make sure that you've got a big brush, and we're going to paint our whole page with yellow. And we're going to use this sweeping movement to cover our whole page with the yellow, and it shouldn't take you too long. Okay, there we go. And you can see there I'm just dragging out that excess water, just spreading that all over the page. And you'll notice that my paintbrush is doing this motion. Okay. And there we go. I'm quite happy with my yellow page. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to think of capturing a bit of the pear. So I'm going to add a bit of brown into my yellow. And I'm going to pretend that the pear is kind of coming around my page. So I'm going to do some of these dashes with the side of my paintbrush on my page to create a sense that there is a shape here. And then I'm going to put it dark brown with my yellow, and I want to see those brush marks, those lines. And then I'm going to come back to my yellow, around like this. And then I'm going to use a bit of white, which mine has got a bit of blue in there with it, so that's going to make green, those of you that know some colour theory already, to make my light area this side. So I'm just pretending that there is something there. I'm going to do the same thing up onto the top of the page, coming round with my white here. I'm not overly thinking it, it's quite loose. There, coming round to my yellow, using this kind of motion, and then going in again with my yellow with my brown, which is going to be at the top of my page here in the corner. And you can see how quickly this is taking me. It's not something that you need to spend ages on. They're just showing the viewer that we've got an understanding of Van Gogh's work, that he showed his brush marks and he's using line to create form and tone as well, because you can see the dark to light gives that emphasis of the roundness, the 3D aspect of our shapes. I might just put a few little loose dashes around the bits so I've got nothing there. If your paint starts to crack on your page, it's too dry and you need to put more water with it. If you've got a puddle on your page, that means that it's too watery. And if it is too watery, just dab your tissue, which you've got in your hand, just to take that excess off. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. So that's just a really, really simple background Next up, we're going to start to cut out some of the images that I've given you of Van Gogh's work. So let's get started on that.